At first about the situation with the Celtics and the Clippers proposal trade, it was in regards to Malcolm Brogdon. Now, I said before that I wasn't cool with the Clippers making a trade for Malcolm Brogdon if he's going to be hurt, because we didn't know the severity of the situation at that time until later news came out about his injury, and they were a little bit more clear about the status of, how long his injury might be or could be and what it was. So, with that being said, now we pivot to the situation at hand now. The Clippers possibly might have made a mistake by not getting Malcolm Brogdon. And the reason why I say that differently than what I said, in previous videos is because, like I said, his injury coming out and, the timetable of him returning, now it makes the difference. And when you think about what the Clippers were going to give up, as you see here, to get Malcolm Brogdon, it really wouldn't have been that bad. My issue with it before, when I spoke on it, was I didn't want the Clippers to give up, Norman Powell, players like that, on the bench or part of the team that, really can make a difference in the game and put up a lot of points and, be like a game changer off the bench, with the depth that they have. And giving up certain players, I feel like the Clippers should not, do for, especially a player who might be injured like a Malcolm Brogdon. Even though I think Malcolm Brogdon is a really good player, I think he would really, fit the Clippers really well. And honestly, the Clippers had a lot of interest in him because they were looking at him almost the same way they kind of look at James Harden. They want another ball handler because even though they like Russ, they still would like to have somebody else bring the ball up sometime who's a little bit more sure with their handle and a lot less loose with the ball, where they can get it to their star players and, execute plays better. Because Russ has trouble with that at times because he just has a motor in him that makes him go and just try things at times rather than, put things together accordingly in his brain to allow the play to happen. And that's just, the way Russ is, and you can't change that about Russ. But, the Malcolm Brogdon thing, the torn tendon in his elbow is a bad thing. It can't be good. We know that. But, reading the reports and looking at certain things and researching myself, that's one of those injuries that lasts about 12 to 16 weeks. And 12 to 16 weeks, I know it sounds like a long time, but that's pretty much the off season. He's probably, he would be back maybe no later than a month into the season, of the new season probably, and he'll be ready to go and he'll be, in rhythm by maybe a few weeks to a month after that. And, he'd be playing top level basketball as he was as the role player that he is for the Celtics. But I definitely think, if the Clippers were going to give up Marcus Morris, Amir Coffey, and a future pick, which is Kobe Brown now, I don't think that really would have been that bad of a giveaway, because Marcus Morris, they definitely want to get rid of him because they've been trying to get rid of him for a long time, seemed like with a trade proposal. But Marcus Morris' value really isn't that high for his trade proposal to, go into effect. So when you think about that, it's like it's almost like a kickback, a drawback with Marcus Morris and trying to get rid of him, because teams really don't see his value just as the Clippers don't. So it's hard to really make a trade for him. It's going to have to be a package deal. Amir Coffey, well, this situation with this gun charge thing that just came out, I don't know if the Clippers organization really liked that too much. So I feel like that really might put him in the doghouse, and he might be shipped off in a package deal if they can get rid of him, even this off season still. So it's one of those things where you like Amir Coffey, what you saw from him a year or two ago when the Stars were hurt, but at the same time it's almost like he doesn't fit in the rotation too much now, even if they were going to use the backups, because the depth that they have. Ty Lue just really likes to go with specifically the main guys. He really plays short lineups sometime in NBA seasons. You know what I'm saying? So Ty Lue doesn't stretch his his rotations enough for me, and be a little bit more versatile enough for me at times. But I mean, like I said, Amir Coffey really wasn't getting much playing time anyway, and I don't think that after that situation with the gun thing really makes his case look any better to them. So it might just be a situation where, they're trying to let him go and add him in a package deal, which I think that's definitely going to happen, if they go after somebody else in a trade this offseason or, mid next season. So it's just right now, when I look at the situation with Malcolm Brogdon, though, it's crazy because I would always say don't trade for an injured player. But I mean, when I think about what the Clippers what they were trying to get out of the James Harden trade, as I said a few minutes ago, they're trying to get a ball handler, somebody who could bring the ball down and, with less, confusion, and who got a better handle, you know what I'm saying? Because Russ is good, but, Russ has his moments of just, making bad things happen with his turnovers. So, I mean, having another ball handler definitely couldn't hurt. And having somebody like a Malcolm Brogdon bringing the ball down, I mean, it makes it a whole lot easier for the team. He can get everybody in their sets. He can shoot very well. He can stretch the floor. And like I said, he's crafty getting into the basket, to the paint. And he's a good free throw shooter. So, I mean, I really think with what the Clippers were going to give up, maybe they might have should have went through with that trade, because they weren't really giving up a lot to get back a player who, when he does get healthy, hopefully, he would be a very good additional piece to what the Clippers have. I mean, the Clippers got Russ, Kawhi, and PG, but having him as the fourth player would be a very good pickup for them, or would have been, because he would have been that type of player who's unselfish, role player, understand his role. He's going to play it to the highest level, and he is going to make big shots for them. And that's what they need. They need that type of guy who can do that, because they don't have Reggie Jackson no more. And they don't have Luke Kennard anymore, so they need that other type guy who can go out there and, make big shots in big moments and be fearless and don't even care whether he makes or misses it or not. Just go out there and have that fearless mentality. And they don't have that anymore in that third or fourth guy, or should I say that third or fourth guy? Yeah. So, I mean, that would have been perfect for the Clippers. And now that I think about it, maybe in hindsight, maybe the Clippers should have went through with that trade, because I definitely don't think it can hurt them, especially if this guy's only going to be out, maybe 7 to 12 weeks. And really the reports were saying, 7 to 14 weeks, somewhere in there. So like I said, that would be damn near the start of the season, or maybe a little bit after, because these reports came out, a little bit later, but he had already suffered that injury. So he probably was already doing conditioning, treatment and all that stuff this whole off season, before the reports came out. So, I mean, he might, like I said, he might be ready somewhere near the regular season, in the beginning of the season. So, I mean, for what the Clippers are going to give up, I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe it wasn't a bad idea, because only I was saying was I didn't want them to give up like Norman Powell, Robert Covington, and people like that for Malcolm Brogdon, because you're giving up too much to get, maybe, a little bit back, or a little bit more than a little, because I think Malcolm Brogdon is good, but I don't think he's as valuable as somebody like Robert Covington to me, because he can't defend on that level, even though he can defend pretty good, but he can't defend on that level and guard position 1 through 5. See what I'm saying? So to me, somebody like that has a lot more value, totality wise. Now, Malcolm Brogdon still is a valuable player, and I definitely think that the Clippers should have reconsidered now that I rethink things and see how the whole thing played out. But, the Celtics, they just kind of said, no, we're going to keep Malcolm Brogdon, because the Clippers kind of pivoted back and forth. They kind of backed in, and they had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and it just didn't work out. But either way, it's just one of those situations. But I definitely think he could have made the Clippers a lot better in regards to making them more well-rounded and being one of those type of pieces that can, help put the Clippers over the top. And I definitely think he would have definitely bettered the Clippers' championship chances if he would have been healthy for the Clippers and going forward. But hey, leave any comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And hey, we'll talk about it.